you guys, we got a lot going on this evening. Trump has allowed the transition to start. The GSA person in charge, the woman, has already contacted Biden this afternoon with a letter saying the funds and the briefings and all that will be available. You can see it on YouTube now, and Yahoo, and other news channels. You're going to see this if you've been paying attention. I've been paying attention for 4 years, basically because I didn't like the way things looked. I wasn't sure about where they were going, and for me they got worse and worse, more impolitically correct and more actually being harmful towards democracy and stuff like that. To make a long story short, Trump is starting to concede. What was the reasons he started to concede? He doesn't see an avenue to win, at least a plausible one anyway. At least can say he put up a good fight and there's fraud, so he can try to use that in the future in his campaigning, maybe 2024. I don't think he's going to make it 2024. His age is there. People know him extremely well right now, and they're just probably not going to put up with it, especially if Biden does a good job and bring things more back to a normal U.S. relationships and stuff like that. So I apologize for ranting on, but for me it's important. Someone has suggested it was the big money, the big guns, come in and said, we want this guy out, Biden's already elected, and if you don't do what's needed, you will not get any more donations. And that's probably what did it. When it comes to money, that's what motivates politicians, at least for the most part, for what I understand. Not necessarily power, but money. Okay, the video, apologize for that rant. I had to use my iPhone, and I brought a Hero 8 to work quick and dirty, and I couldn't even put the Hero 8 in because this is a furnace, and I was only able to open the door so slightly I could barely stick my hand in there, and I could barely stick my iPhone and hand in there to take some of the images you guys are looking at. So I couldn't give you a great description, so I apologize. And I don't have a steady camera, I don't have the greatest lighting, but I'm hoping you get sufficient ideas. If this is something you might attempt, this is not for the faint of heart. You better be mechanically inclined. You better be careful, because one wire out, you could fry the board. Okay, so be careful. And there was a loose wire. I'll try to describe it to you in there. Basically, they called me, the furnace is not working. I'll tend to do two things. I'll go for the breaker, or I'll go for a red switch that's on the wall that turns the furnace off if there's an issue. It actually locks the system out completely. After that, I'll take one of the covers off, both covers off, see if it even wants to start. It didn't want to start at all, so I went for the switch, and because the breaker was on, I wanted to see if I had to reset the breaker. I found power to the switch. When I turned the switch on, I found power on both sides, telling me the switch is working, so that's good. So I know the unit's getting power. The next thing, to try to make life simple for me, without checking the pressure switch or the hose that goes from the induction motor to the pressure switch, blowing it out and all that, or if it had a flow switch on an old condensate line or something else locking the system out. Even I've seen condensate pumps run continuously will lock the system out. There's a host of things that can lock the system out. But I decided to go to where the little blinking light is at and see how many times it blanked. It blanked 6 consistent times, would stop. 6, and then I looked on the back of the top panel, and it showed me the error codes, told me it was a bad fuse or a bad rollout switch. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm busy, I'm short-handed, I'm the service manager, I'm not a maintenance tech per se, but I've been doing it for 25 years anyway, so what? I finally got a little piece, just phone calls I had to answer and get somebody to run somewhere else or provide some service. And I decided to go for it. I took the panel off. I got to the control board, PC board, whatever you want to call it. Found the fuse. It was kind of hidden, hard to get to. My hands had to kind of go in circles to get to it and get it out. Got the fuse out. Could see it's broken. ran to the shop, got a new fuse. I'm even going to show you some of the tools that I have to use or I use on HVAC systems during the heating season, and sometimes even during the AC system. Might make your life a little easier if this is what you're doing. I'll give you a few ideas. And then in past experiences, I must have only did this in the past few years less than 10 times. And several times, unfortunately, there was a short in the system that killed the fuse. So even though I went through all this trouble, an hour worth of trouble for me because I'm slow, gotta be careful. The fuse would blow again. I had to actually call a mechanic to look for a short, and they would find, they put the new fuse in, things would start running. But half the time I do get lucky, so I do still make an effort. I made the effort this time and I got lucky. You guys are going to see that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Apologize about the rant, but I've been not happy for a few years already, and I'm very happy to see things are getting better. I hope they're getting better for you. Happy that Biden is really going to pay attention to the coronavirus. He's not going to say a herd mentality or something like that. Leave us to ourselves, or leave the state to themselves, or whatever. He's going to try to work with people, and that's the beginning. Working with people. The more you work together, the more you can get accomplished. The more you divide and you work by yourself, the less you can get accomplished. The less resources you actually have. So this is part of the reason I didn't like this divide and conquer for the past several years, or few years, excuse me. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It is Thanksgiving in a couple of days, I guess. So I hope you start enjoying your holidays, whatever it is. I know what my holidays are. Hope you enjoy your holidays. We'll see you guys in the next one. Any questions, just ask. I'm a novice. The real channel, Word of Advice, that guy's a real professional. He went to college 2 years, one for residential, one for commercial. Did his study, kept his notes. If you want to see a real HVAC channel, there it is, Word of Advice. So what? He's like half my age. He has. I can't hold a candle to the guy. Yeah, that's how good he is. Again, I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoy the video. Any questions, just ask. Okay, you guys, 3 amp fuse. What a headache to get this thing in and out. We're going to get there and I'll show you the best illustration I can. Since my GoPro is a very tight area, it won't work that great. Can't take my regular camera with me. I'm doing it on my iPhone, so please excuse. Okay, tools I'm using today. Stubby, Klein, regular Klein. Multimeter. Use this to pull the door off a little bit. And there's a couple more I think over here. This is what I'm actually working on. This unit right here. Sorry for the motion. This is the HVAC unit. And when I check the trouble signal, it says open rollout or fuse. Now I'm not an HVAC technician. I'm not trained. Have to learn this on the job from other people as I go. And to take this door off is a real pain. 3 screws here, 3 screws there. Somebody put some clear caulking on the bottom. Even just to get my phone in there for to see what's going on. This is where you would see the trouble code. 6 blinks, fuse or roll out. I'm thinking the rollout is the one on top of the fan inside. But it's going to take me a little bit, so I got to shut off the phone to get in there. Behind this door. You can see my hand barely fits in there, let alone my face to see what I'm doing. So give me a second while I put the light in there and try to show you what's going on. Okay, I got the phone on. On top there is where the fuse goes. Next to that big white plug, that's where the fuse goes. It was kind of black. And then that orange cable right there on the bottom of all those white wires was actually kind of loose. When I opened the door, it came off. So hopefully that's it. Hopefully there's no short in here. I got to call a mechanic to trace a short because I'm not that good. But this is where I'm at, and hopefully I get lucky. If I get it going, I'll let you know. What basically happened was I came here and nothing went on, the heat or the AC, even though the thermostat would call for it, I would hear it click. So I went to the emergency switch, make sure the switch is working. I have power. I did. Switch is off now because I'm working on the unit. When I finish, I'll put it on, test it. Hopefully I'm good. And again, hopefully I don't have a short. Since I have power to the switch, I went to go check for a trouble code. Sure enough, I got one, and this is where I'm at in this mess. This is not a job for faint of heart, because I also had to take off that stack right there that goes through the unit, through that top metal piece, and hits that flute. Okay, thinking you can see the black spot in the fuse in the middle. She's burnt out. This is the new fuse. You can see part of it in there. We're going to install that. Hopefully get everything back together in one piece. I've done this a few times, and a couple times it wound up there was a short in the system and I had to call a mechanic. So I'm just letting you know, just because you change your fuse don't mean it's always going to work for any length of time. Okay, there it is. You can see the purple fuse in place right next to that big white plug I was telling you about. Okay, and that orange wire was loose, so I put it back in place. I think I'm going to test everything else while I'm here, make sure everything else is tight, because that could be a reason for a short, that something's not working properly on the board. So after I check everything is tight, push it in by hand, then I can finish up and start putting everything back together. Okay, I think that's the PC board, motherboard. Okay, I needed the stubby to get underneath all this mess. You see the screw over there? There's one in that corner behind this box, and this is not a good job here, good install, because these wires and that Romex belong inside that box. They should have been shortened. They should not. There's no cover on there. Whoever did this took a shortcut, left and a problem. That loose wire on the board too, that was not cool. So anyway, I got all my 6 screws on. I don't even know if we can get in there. See that other screw? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we got them all in. This is the other 2 I wanted you guys to see. This is made by Tecton, 5/16 and a quarter. Has got me out of buying, especially get the doors when things are tight, like this furnace door here, or closet door, excuse me, is blocking everything. But thank God it opens like this. A lot of them don't open, they fold, and I can't get to that last screw, so that's what this helps me out for. I mean, guys that do this for a living, they might have a 1/4" drive setup where they get tight spots and stuff like that. I don't. So I already got the video like this, so I'm gonna pause it for a second. I wonder if I can get this in while I got the phone on. Okay. Looks like we did get it in. Okay. Sitting correctly on the bottom. I'm gonna put the screws in. I gotta reattach the top right here, and I need 2 hands to do that, so I gotta pause the phone. Okay, we got that part of that stack back in place. Gotta put a few screws back in place. Just sitting up there. Put the doors on and stuff like that. A couple go up here, a couple go down there. It's supposed to be 4, there was only 2. Somebody came here and did this job before, I'm pretty sure, for this fuse. So now we're going to turn the unit on, and the cool has a delay, so I might have to shut the phone off. Anyway, let's see what happens. Well, the fan is on, which means the unit's working, but if it's blinking, there's a delay. It's blinking, so I gotta wait for that delay to go off, make sure the unit's working. But at least I was able to get the fan on, so that tells me the control board is working, and we're gonna test it for him. You see that blinking, the cool on, there's a delay on there. I can see it from between 5 and 15 minutes. And the weird part is, if you come here, one of the tenants on you, or one of your clients starts flipping the switch on and off, it might multiply that delay. You would be a very unhappy camper. So I just figured I'll let you know. You're probably better off pulling the batteries and start with a fresh delay. Okay, I think you guys can hear the unit working. That's the return over there. There's a downflow system. So you have the burner, reducing motor, the gas tray there, gas valve on top of the A coil on the bottom. Okay, so that's the low side, high side gas line going to the gas valve. Okay, this is the second floor. I wish they would have put these on the first floor, but it is what it is. They even have the hot water tanks on the second floor. But let's see if we get lucky. I'm waiting for the AC to go on. Okay, we got the doors on. Unit's running. The thermostat says cool. I put my hand in the low side, see if it's starting to get cold yet. This is off 410. It's gonna possibly run slow, especially in this weather. Went down from 78 to 76, so that's a good thing. 77, 76 over here. I think it says 77. If it keeps going down, we on our way. I can also go outside, check the compressor outside, make sure the fan is running, stuff like that. There was one of the two I had to use today, and that was that small vice grip. A couple of screws on the stack with it's the flue. I described as a flue. Some people might say breaching, some people might call the whole thing a stack. Hopefully you get the idea. The screws were kind of stripped out. They would turn, but they wouldn't pull out. So I had to use that vice grip, put it on the head of the screw to pull the screws out. Took a little bit of work, but we good. Like I said, I tested the switch with the meter. We had power. And then I found the fault code. So I was like, oh, here we go. We're in trouble now. We got the unit running, so that's good. What's the last thing? You could have used that meter to test continuity, the old fuse, but you guys can see the black mark. See, it was blown out already. Okay, I think that's all I got for you guys today. This is not a job for the faint of heart. This is Goodman R410. Alright, and then over here, since the hole's not lining up right, I'm gonna go get some aluminum tape, tape that up. It's a real tight fit. I'm not worried about that fit at all. The tape's not holding anything up, it's just sealing air out. So that's what I'm gonna do over there, and I'll be done with this job.